We are not fans of the website Your Tango around here, but this is a very good topic that is relevant to me because I have had experience working with coworkers who are parents, and for some reason when they describe their hardship and you as a childless person describe your hardship, they try to find a way to make it seem like their challenges are worse than yours, or like only their burdens and hardships are the only valid ones. So I saw this article that goes, "Dear moms, your childless friends are allowed to be tired too." And I'm like, I can already tell that this is going to be an awesome read. I thought that I would create another kind of reaction video, see if I agree or disagree with it. And now that I think about it, I remember seeing it a long time ago, and I just never got around to it. I recognized that this was written January 19th, 2022. So if it came up again, it's for a reason. So yeah, let's just dive into it. There are many different reasons why someone can feel exhausted. "Oh, do not tell me you're tired," my coworker loomed over me, scraping at a Yoplait container with fast jabs as she rattled off all the reasons I, as a non-parent, don't have the right to be tired. "You don't have kids, you wouldn't know." She leaned into my face and breathed heavily with strawberry-scented breath that heralded unknown terrors. "I'm exhausted. It's a nightmare." She pointed her spoon at me like it was the mighty Yoplait spoon of truth. "So don't tell me about tired." And I hate that. I have experienced that in multiple different ways. Someone just tries to invalidate whatever it is that you're saying by saying that something that they're going through is worse. And I feel like in the daily, we're continuously competing against who has it worse. And if you guys ever wonder how I ended up being so bitter, salty, and miserable, it's because I feel like I have to very often take a defensive stance when I really shouldn't. Fortunately, nowadays, because I really make it a point to only associate myself with people who have proven I can exist with in a healthy way, then this doesn't really happen to me very often, but sometimes I can be overhearing this kind of person saying it to somebody else. And I guess the squad of colleagues who I have now, their children are either grown or they don't have any kind of children who need supervision that's constant. Say anybody younger than a 10-year-old, as far as I know, nobody in the squad has that going on. So maybe that's part of it. But for me personally, when a person who's stressed out over kids describes their stress, this is gonna sound mean, but a lot of the times I think it's poor organization on their part. But because I don't live with them and I don't know them that deep, I'm just basing that off the little things that they say. The reason I can just say it like that is because the only way that my mom was successful as a single parent with a teaching career is she was incredibly organized, and she always tried to instill organization onto us. "Ladies, sit down. We need to have a conversation. Childless women are allowed to be tired." That's it. That's the conversation. Life can sometimes be exhausting or painful for everyone for a myriad of reasons, regardless of their parental status. I don't want to approach this topic like your edgy friend who talks over you with stories about seeing the chain smokers with this guy I met on Tinder while giving dumb advice nobody asked for. But here it is, saying childless women are not allowed to be tired or in emotional or physical pain because they don't have children is just as demeaning and dismissive as attacking a new mom for using formula instead of breastfeeding. I don't need to be a parent to be tired. I have chronic pain from rheumatoid arthritis and polymyositis and fibromyalgia, trigeminal neuralgia. Ooh, I heard of that before. And chronic migraines. Yeah, the trigeminal neuralgia. The case that I heard about was someone had like intense pain pretty much everywhere, but particularly the face. And it was so bad that they even began losing their teeth. And it's just a pain that's incredibly intense from the way they described it. And things like laughing and smiling hurts. Oh, that Maybe I'll create a separate video about that. But yeah, I'm like, oh man, this is a person who is a nurse themselves too, going through that. So it just made me feel like, wow, you spent your time serving others and helping others, and now it's your turn to need help, need assistance. I'm a choose your own adventure of chronic pain, sharp zinging pain that makes me gag mid-sentence. Oh yeah, weird pain that's half pins and needles, half feeling like I have been dragged behind the clown car at a juggalo gathering. Yeah, let's schedule that for all of Tuesday. Sometimes that pain all comes together in one giant middle finger and I end up unconscious on the couch for 16 hours. This isn't a luxurious kidless snooze. I'm losing consciousness from the pain. Being in constant pain that I can't control or predict is physically and emotionally exhausting. Did I stretch, drink water, eat clean, work out, and meditate today? Yes? Great. Here's a thunderclap of pain down your face for no reason. Welcome to the fun zone. I have stopped opening up to women I don't know well about my chronic pain after the response became some variant of, you've never been in labor, so you don't know real pain. And that's one of those things that absolutely sickens me, because I have felt real pain, incredibly sharp pain in my stomach, and I have also experienced the pain of having an extreme inflammation in my lungs that I never even got to find out what it was, to the point that every time I took a breath, I felt constriction, and I was like a fish out of water gasping for air one night, and I didn't think I was gonna be alive the next day. And this happened to me on like December the 30th, 2019. It was each breath that I took, I was tired. My lungs were tired. I'm surprised that they didn't collapse or something crazy, but it was the worst pain I have ever experienced when it comes to respiratory matters. I have also had sharp, like, it's kind of the precision of a needle, very sharp in areas of my chest that I never get to check out. So how do you think that would make me feel? Dismissing another woman in pain because they haven't given birth is dangerously turfy and bad in general. What's troubling, even in these ultra woke times, is that so many important women in my life have found subtle or not so subtle ways to tell me that my pain doesn't matter because it didn't produce another human being. That my exhaustion is not valid because it's not related to parenting. And it's not just me. When I worked in medicine, I heard a nurse tell a younger girl who had been hit by a car that the pain of her broken pelvis was nothing compared to labor pain. If you think this hurts, wait until you have a baby, she said cheerfully. Jesus, lady, read the room. I understand why parents in general, and moms in particular, are defensive. Maternity care in the US is atrocious. Pregnancy discrimination is a huge problem. And child care is prohibitively expensive. That sounds exhausting, upsetting, and difficult to navigate. I have respect for the selflessness that is mom tired, and the utmost respect if you're mom tired and autoimmune tired or divorce tired or sick parent tired, sick kid or special needs kid tired. My mom was mom tired, divorce tired, and sick kid and special needs kid tired. That's all valid, and don't let anybody tell you it isn't. Inversely, stop telling your childless coworker, friend, or family member that their struggles don't matter because they don't have kids or haven't experienced pregnancy or birth. And to be fair, I didn't even enjoy that Chainsmokers concert, and my husband got super mad that I went with some guy from Tinder instead of him. Yeah, if I found out that somebody I'm seeing has a dating account, I would be pretty upset. That's grounds for breakup. Because if you're already with me and you're seeing me and you're married to me or long-term relationship with me, why the hell are you creating profiles on websites that are designed to get you hooked up with somebody else? I would be done with that clown. I don't have any dating profiles, and I never will. Even if I were single, I would look for people locally to get with. While I don't have kids, I'm not out all night drinking wine with my friends, talking about fascinating adult things, and mocking all you losers at homes with Rugrats. I'm not reading on a beach after sleeping until noon, and then laughing like a Bond villain while I have an opulent pee in complete solitude. Parenting looks difficult. I wouldn't know, but I will give my parents space to vocalize their needs and be seen, heard, validated, and supported. As a woman living with an invisible illness and chronic pain, of which I guarantee you know many, all we're asking for is the same thing in return. And hey, I don't have kids, so come on over and take a nap on my couch if you want. The only Cheerios and drool you'll find on it are mine. And that's the thing. Do you guys remember that video that I made in which I was describing invisible talents? There are invisible illnesses. I have invisible illnesses. But in my case, they are not chronic, I guess chronic enough to where they define me. But for some people, these diseases are super serious to the point that you have to let it define you. You have to let it define you because it will determine how you get ready, how long you can be doing something, who you can be around, how far you can go, all those little details that a disease can hinder. This is what I mean. Anytime I speak overtly critical of women, it's because this experience, some of the things described here, I have gone through. Like if I had any kind of pain, any kind of discomfort, it's like, ooh, I better make sure that whoever I'm talking to is willing and open and empathetic to hear me out, because it's going to be one of those people who finds a way to make their tragedy seem worse. Why is this a competition? Why do we feel that way? Why do we treat things in that way? And at some point, it got so bad that I decided to become a bitch myself and an asshole myself and be like, oh, okay, that's what you're going through? You have money problems? Try going 2 weeks with only $3 on your bank account. I had to do that shit multiple times. And for the longest time, I kept my financial struggles incredibly quiet and to myself because, first of all, that's private. But second of all, I kept hearing all these people with significant privilege over me saying those things. And I thought, ooh, you have actually never lived in your car. I did that shit. See what I mean? Everybody out there has something that they can say is worse than you. I know somebody who once shared with me that they were in a coma for months. Can you compete against that? Probably not. So why on God's green earth would you make your frame in life appear like it's the absolute worst? To me, that sounds like somebody who spends too much time self-absorbed as opposed to evaluating how your condition compares to others, but not in an effort to compete, but in an effort to be like, you know what? Here are the areas in my life that are going well. Here are the areas that need to improve. And here are the areas that need immediate attention. That's how I look at my life. And that's why occasionally you guys observe with my content that I can go from being fine to low to extreme lows to extreme lows with a meltdown, such as that night that I recently posted in which I was annoyed that I was expressing something challenging, but I felt like nobody listens to me, and instead I get dismissed and nobody cares. And then I can go back to feeling, normal. I'm never extremely blissful, but I look at it as, well, at least I'm still being a straight A student and I'm still being someone functional. If I ever get to the point where my emotional state is affecting my ability to make money and my ability to make it to places, basically my duties and responsibilities become neglected, then you can start worrying about me. But as long as I'm being productive and independent in that regard, I don't need someone to give me a bath and stuff, and I'm able to dress myself and take care of my own expenses, then I think I'm doing pretty darn well. I think I'm good. But if I were getting worse in that regard, like, oh damn, I was in debt, now my debt furthered even more, maybe at that point you may need some kind of intervention. But when it comes to the note of exhaustion, I have the privilege of not getting tired very often, but I think it's because I take aggressive measure against that. At work, I try to not kill myself. When I'm working out, I challenge myself, but not to the point that I'm going to break myself down to the extreme in the name of fitness so that I come home and I can't function. I just do a little bit extra just to push myself a little more to have better resistance. But it's not like wrecking myself is my goal, because I know it's not practical. It's going to affect me, it's going to affect the people in my life, and as a responsible person, I take that seriously. And on top of that, I try to make conscious choices that help my body feel better. I try to eat well within reason. These past 2 days, I have been tripping because I was finally able to cook at home for the first time since God knows when. And it's been incredibly nutritious. And I keep telling myself, damn, I really wish I could make this my everyday. But since I cannot make it my everyday, I'm like, okay, I'm able to accommodate it this week. I'll embrace it. I'll go back to my trash diet soon, possibly, but at least I'm not condemned to it. I do what I can. But people like this, I feel like, sure, they're doing what they can, but they still find a way to compete against you doing what you can. But they like to use that I have kids factor as if you're the most important person in the room because you have the next generation of people and workers and whatever your kids represent for the future. That's super selfish. That doesn't make you better. That doesn't make you more important. So I think that you just need to chill out, calm down, and be like, I'm a member of this community. My struggles are unique. Everybody else, they're members of the community. Their struggles are unique and they're equally valid. I don't need to compete. Because if we were to compete, we would all lose against the disabled people, especially the physically disabled person, and double especially the disabled and mentally disabled person. How do you compete against somebody physically and mentally disabled? And bonus points if they have one of their senses compromised as well. Sight, hearing, or both. How would you compete against them? Would you still say that, oh my God, they don't have kids, therefore their life is not as rough as mine? Do you hear how stupid you sound? I hope you do. Well, there you guys have it. That's my opinion. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you have experienced conversations like this. I'm sure you have. Or maybe if you're a man, I would imagine that this kind of conversation would terrify the crap out of you, because you guys are never allowed to feel tired or complain about anything, because somehow a woman will always have it worse just because they can have children.